one of 6 candidates vying to succeed the current supervisor is a former state assemblyman, now married to an assemblywoman. He has sponsored Chelsea's Law, named for a murder victim. And let us welcome now Nathan Fletcher, also a former mayoral candidate here in San Diego. And Nathan, you are looking to succeed 4th District Supervisor Ron Roberts, who will be termed out after 6 terms, a long time there. And Roberts has been at the forefront of efforts to create more affordable housing. He also has been in front of the growing population of homeless, trying to figure out a way how to reduce that population. Are those roles that you can also move into, or you have other priorities that you would try to balance if those are things that concern you and you're going to jump on?
Well, I mean, Gene, those are areas we not only got to move into, we actually got to do something, and we got to do something different than what they've been doing. You know, as you just saw, I mean, we have hepatitis-infected fecal matter on the streets of downtown San Diego. We have people dying.
And that's a county
It's a huge county issue, and it's a failure of the county, and it's a failure of the current culture and the regime and the approach. You have a housing crisis. You have over 70,000 San Diegans that are on a 10-year wait list to get help to build affordable housing. We have the 4th largest homeless population. We have a lack of any meaningful effort to do climate change, and so it's going to take a new approach, and it's going to take pointing the county in a new direction. And you know, Gene, I know how to fight, and I know how to lead, and I know how to get things done. And so we really are running to change county government, to change the status quo, and to start delivering results for those who need it most. Because as you can see, just look at any of the things going on in the city and the county right now, it's desperate that we need change.
The state legislature is trying to move with bond issues that will help, but there's a study out that says there's a deficit of something like 150,000 housing units between now and, is it 2020, at the current rate of construction? It's almost behind that curve. How do we begin to catch up with that? And of course, the housing prices that are out there are like huge compared to the rest of the country.
Well, that's even more so the case of why we need change. I mean, we've got 4 decades of Republican control of the Board of Supervisors, and it has created the situation that you just described. And it's an approach that's wrong. So the county said that they had $150 million for a Charger Stadium. Now, whether you think that was a good idea or a bad idea, they had $150 million to build something that we're not going to build now. So why don't they put $150 million that was set aside for a stadium into building affordable housing, help working families, help get people off the streets, help make a difference? And those are the types of things that we have to drive and we have to push, and we got to go in and fight for, and we got to get done. And the status quo isn't getting it done. And the culture of the county and what they've done the last few decades has to be shaken up and changed.
How do you go about this? You personally, you can fight, you've got your own ideas, but what are the odds of your priorities taking, a good hold here when there is this 4-1 Republican versus Democrat, if you get elected, partisan odds on the board? I mean, it's going uphill.
Well, look, Democrats are motivated to make change and to point the county in a new direction. And I think that's why you've seen the Democratic Party overwhelmingly endorse me, and you've seen Democratic leaders from Todd Gloria and Chris Kehoe and Chris Ward and others who've all wind up behind us, because our values and our ideas are what's going to actually deliver the help that people need and make a real difference. And I think once we start highlighting those and we get in a position to start driving these solutions, and we get in a position to start saying you have over $100 million in mental health money, let's put it to work. And we get in a position to say, let's be a leader on climate change. Let's be a leader on taking care of refugees. Let's invest in all San Diegans. I think you're going to see the public start awakening to the opportunity for change that we can make at the county. And then you're going to see that change happen. And the other members of the Board of Supervisors are either going to fall in line with what the public is demanding, which is action and progress, or they'll be voted out. But one way or the other, the status quo cannot be allowed to continue because it's failing those who need help most.
Do you like the situation that you see in Sacramento, at least how that is going? And of course, your wife is in some leadership roles there in Sacramento.
Well, my wife's a powerhouse.
Okay,
she is brilliant and beautiful and fierce. And I think what you see in Sacramento with leaders in the legislature and with the governor, and I have some experience up there, and I know those folks, is they're tackling these issues and they're getting it done. They're taking bold action. They're taking decisive action. They're moving the state in a progressive direction. And so you see a lot of successes there where we see failures on the current Board of Supervisors. And that, I think, is really what we're trying to drive and do. And, you know, Gene, when I went to Sacramento, everyone said, well, how are you going to get anything done? And we still managed to get it done. You know, I authored, obviously, Chelsea's Law to protect kids. I authored legislation to help homeless youth. I authored legislation to help improve the environment. I authored legislation that made a difference for foster kids and adopted kids. You know, in the time after I left the legislature, we've been fighting to help our deported vets, to get them the help that they need and hopefully get them home. We've run programs to provide mental health services for veterans who need it most. And, you know, if I get elected to the Board of Supervisors, I will bring that working class, blue collar upbringing I have, combined with the Marine Corps fighting spirit of having led Marines in combat and the experience of the legislature where I know how to deliver and drive results, and we'll turn our county around and we'll make a difference.
Wow. You are supercharged and ready to go in the election.
We need that, though. We need a new energy. We got to go. People are dying on the streets. Let's get to work. Let's get it done.
Yes, sir. Nathan Fletcher,